economía global.
Mustafa, ambassador of Malaysia. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much. Thank you for having me for this interview.
What did you study?
Okay, first about my study background. I graduated in my first degree in Islamic law from University of Malaya, Malaysia. And immediately after I graduated, I joined the Malaysian Administrative and Diplomatic Service in 1995. After which I completed my diploma in public administration, followed by diplomatic training. And in 2003, I had the opportunity to attend foreign service program at Oxford University. And in 2014, I completed my international masters in regional integration at Asia Europe Institute in University of Malaya, Malaysia.
Okay. What is your professional experience?
I served at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs since 1995, as I mentioned earlier. So this year will be my 27th year in service. And I've served in various capacities at different departments, such as Protocol Department, West Asia Division, ASEAN Department, Policy and Strategic Planning Department, as well as in the Finance Division under the Management Services Department. As for my assignment abroad, I had served in Malaysian Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, in Berlin, Germany, as well as Caracas in Venezuela before my assignment in Mexico City.
With what mission did you arrive in Mexico?
As any other ambassadors, my mission when I arrived in Mexico, basically to promote Malaysia's interests and also Malaysia and Mexico relation. Other than the existing excellent relation between Malaysia and Mexico at political level, there are other areas, especially in trade and investment with Mexico. It is my mission to ensure these interests are protected and further promoted, while at the same time to enhance the profile of Malaysia, especially among the ordinary Mexican, through various outreach and promotional programs on our culture, tourism, and education opportunities. This interview would be a very good opportunity for me to reach out to your audience as well.
How is the Malaysia-Mexico relationship?
Malaysia-Mexico, we formally established our diplomatic relations since 48 years ago in 1974. We established our resident diplomatic missions in Malaysia and in Mexico City in 1992. We enjoyed very excellent bilateral relations at political level. We had exchanges of high-level visits. In 2019, we established bilateral consultation as a mechanism to monitor and promote different aspects of our bilateral relation. The bilateral consultation is headed by the Undersecretary of the Secretariat for External Relations on the Mexican side, and for Malaysia, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the head of our side. Despite our physical distance, that does not become any hindrance for Malaysia and Mexico to have an excellent, especially in trade and business relation. According to the figures published by the Secretariat of Economy of Mexico, in 2021, Malaysia ranked among the top 10 in Mexico's global trading partners with a total of more than $11 billion worth of trade exchanges. Mexico is Malaysia's second largest export destination in the whole of Americas region after the US. Our economies are actually complementary, as Malaysia and Mexico trade exchanges comprise of mostly the same product, mostly parts and components for our industrial needs, such as electronic and electrical items, machinery, and also chemical products. What remains is for us to promote trade and business exchanges for finished and fast-moving consumer goods produced by small and medium enterprises and industries. In Malaysia, as well as in Mexico, we have more than 90% of our companies are from the small and medium enterprises. In tourism as well, the number of tourist arrival from each country also remain small, that more promotions would be required from both sides. On
Really?
education, there had been exchanges of students, but not on a regular basis. Perhaps more effort should be dedicated to promote this aspect of our bilateral cooperation.
Please, Ambassador, tell you about your country.
Okay, maybe not many Mexican, especially the ordinary Mexican, would know Malaysia. So I hope this interview would also give some information and would create some interest among Mexicans to know more about Malaysia. Malaysia is located in the heart of Southeast Asia. Our neighbors are Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, and Vietnam. Our political system is constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system where the head of state is a king who is rotated among 5 years, every 5 years among 9 state rulers in Malaysia. The head of government is the prime minister who be appointed by the king among the parliamentarians who command the majority support of the parliamentarians. After each election, which is held every 5 years in Malaysia. The system of government is closely modeled after the Westminster parliamentary system, a legacy of British rule, where we gained independence in 1957 from British. We are a medium-sized country with a 32 million population. Our economy, our GDP is around US dollars 370 billion US dollars. We are very much a trading nation. In some economists would categorize us as newly industrialized market economy. More than 60% of GDP are made up of our export, worth about United States dollar 207 billion US dollars. When we gained independence 65 years ago, Malaysia economy was largely mining and commodity-based economy. But over the years, we have transformed and diversified the economy, especially in industrial and manufacturing sector. Agriculture, especially palm oil, remain important to the economy, as more than 500,000 of our population still depend on palm oil industry for their livelihood. On demographics, we are proud that Malaysia has a multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multilingual society. Malaysia is a melting pot for these different cultures. For example, religion, we have Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, and Sikh. Among the sizable one, we have different other ethnic group as well. We have in Malaysia, we have also a different ethnic groups such as Malay, Chinese, and Indian as the major races in Malaysia, aside from other minority group. We can experience the different cultures, religion, languages, and cuisines in Malaysia. We are proud to promote Malaysia as truly Asia, where if you want to experience Asia in one place, Malaysia will be the best place to have that. Talking about foreign relations, Malaysia's foreign relation is officially based on the principles of neutrality and maintaining peaceful relations with all countries, regardless of their political system. We have over 110 embassies and consulates all over the world, including in Mexico City.
What are the opportunities in Malaysia for companies?
There are a lot of opportunities, especially when we talk about trade. Because Malaysia would like to see more trade, business, and investment linkages between Mexican and Malaysian companies. As I mentioned earlier, especially between the SMEs companies. Talking about trade and businesses, probably one area that we can try to promote is on the halal industry. when we talk about the halal industry, it's not only about food, but it's also about cosmetic and about other consumer goods. There are also a lot of opportunities, for example, like in agriculture producers, including palm oil, because Malaysia is one of the largest producer of palm oil, the second largest, in fact, after Indonesia. And not only palm oil, but also palm oil-based products. Because palm oil is very useful oil, vegetable oil that is used in food, in cosmetic industries. Other than that, we would also like to have a greater collaboration with Mexican companies on pharmaceutical product, electrical and electronic, textile, aviation, and aerospace industry. When we talk about the trade opportunities, Malaysia, we shouldn't talk only about Malaysia. Malaysia is a market of about 32 million population, but Mexican companies should consider Malaysia and look Malaysia as a wider market in the region, especially among the 10 ASEAN members with a combined population of 600 million population. Under ASEAN, Mexican companies can take advantage of AFTA, that is ASEAN Free Trade Area, where under the Common Effective Preferential Tariff (CEPT) scheme, we have to promote intra-ASEAN trade. With most products, the tariff are only between 0 to 5%. On investment, Malaysia is an investment-friendly country where we offer many incentives for foreign companies to invest in Malaysia, such as various competitive investment incentives in terms of tax relief, for example. In terms of equity ownership, foreigners are allowed to hold 100% equity ownership in manufacturing and selected services sector. And there is also freedom to repatriate capital, interest, dividends, and profits with no restriction. In terms of employment of expatriates, key posts that are permanently filled by foreigners, and also temporary posts that are filled by foreigners for a period of 1 to 5 years. There's a provision that in terms of foreign investment, Malaysia would facilitate all the process by our one-stop agency that would facilitate foreign investment to establish their companies in Malaysia. Malaysia currently hosts over 5,000 companies, foreign companies, from more than 60 countries, mostly in manufacturing sector. As of end of 2020, talking about Mexico investment in Malaysia valued 32 million US dollars, such as companies such as Cemex, Kidzania for services, and also Mission. There is companies in manufacturing sector in food industry. There are a lot of other potential for Mexican companies within manufacturing and services sector in Malaysia, which include in automotive, aerospace, and food processing. Mexican companies may consider Malaysia not only for their base for their company, but also maybe for regional headquarters or representative office or regional office that maybe can serve the region, especially in the Southeast Asian region.
Ambassador, how do you feel in Mexico?
Mexico is a very a great country, has a very long history, and in terms of potential, with the population of more than 130 million population, Mexico is a very a great and has a very great potential in terms of its location in the heart of the Americas region. We would like to have more Malaysian companies who look for Mexico to have and to establish their presence here to take advantage of all this potential that Mexico can offer. Despite we are very far apart in terms of the physical distance, but Mexico is always close to Malaysians, especially Malaysians. If you ask Malaysian in general, they would know Mexico very well, not only from film, but also there are a lot of publicity about Mexico among Malaysians in general. We always consider Mexico having a similar cultural similarities, and also Malaysia always have a great admiration towards Mexico. So we hope we can have a closer collaboration between Malaysia and Mexico for the mutual benefits of our people.
Anything else do you want to comment on?
I think I have covered most of the areas that I would like to mention during this interview. It is my hope that with this interview, I mean through your audience, I would reach out as many as possible audience out there especially among the ordinary Mexican. Probably they would know Malaysia, maybe in general, very basic information about Malaysia. I hope this interview would create more interest among the Mexicans to know about Malaysia, so we could promote especially people-to-people connection between our two countries.
Ambassador, if you agree, we are going to watch the video that you sent.
Okay,
Yes?
okay.
All the world, what do you think in these times?
At this time, I think everyone is facing a great challenge, a challenging time because of the COVID. All countries are affected, so it is important that we work together so that we can come out of this situation very well. I mean, economically, all countries has been affected, including Malaysia. Last year, we were, in terms of GDP, we registered a contraction of about 5%. But fortunately, this year, 2021, we did better. Even though the effect is still there. Instead of our earlier prediction of reaching between 5 to 6 6% of growth, we managed to reach only about 3 to 4% of growth. The concern remains there, but we hope it's going to come to an end soon, that we can return our life as normal again very soon, especially this year. There are a lot of optimism for this year in terms of economic growth, and also the well-being of the people, and also in terms of the pandemic, that we can tackle this effectively, and it would no longer become an obstacle for us to return our life as normal again.
Mustafa, embajador de Malasia en México. Muchas gracias por esta entrevista, embajador.
Thank you again for having me for this interview.